So after playing a lot of Star Wars Outlaws in the past week or so, there are a bunch of things that I've picked up that I thought would be worth sharing, and I wish I knew earlier in my playthrough. Some of this stuff the game doesn't tell you, and other things are just things you might forget, whether you're starting the game fresh, are about to play, or are just watching videos like this on YouTube. I hope this helps you in some way, and giving you more hints on how to play, and not be a noob like me. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Did you know that you can actually drift your speeder bike? This was something I didn't realize until about 15 hours into the game, and a bunch of times I would accidentally try and press a handbrake button, like on square on the controller, as I was trying to drift my way around corners, but this unfortunately did nothing. However, you can in fact drift by continuing to hold down the accelerator and then also pressing the brake button at the same time, and then pushing the direction in which you want to go. And you can perform some pretty sweet doughies. And also, yes, I'm doing this on water here, but you can also just do it on land. You can do it pretty much anywhere. And this is something that will help you get away or make fast maneuvers during speeder bike chases. For example, when you're being hunted by one of the syndicates or by the Empire, you can quickly flip your speeder around, lock onto everyone, shoot them, or just make a quick getaway. And I'm assuming most of you are using a controller to play, so it's right trigger, left trigger, and then the direction in which you want to turn. Super easy and fun. So if you ever wanted to do some doughies in the car park at 2 AM in Star Wars, you can now do that. Did you know that you can actually turn off the lockpicking and slicing mini-games? I personally did these the first few times playing and then decided to turn them off the rest of my playthrough just because I didn't like the rhythm of gameplay getting interrupted by a rhythm challenge or by the slicing puzzles. I'd prefer to just keep stealthing my way around and shooting enemies. All you have to do is pause the game, go to settings, gameplay, and then scroll all the way down to mini-games, where you can also adjust the difficulty of both the lockpicking and slicing games, or simply turn them off. And once they're turned off, when you have to open a lock or slice a console in the game, you'll still have to go into the little mini-game menu, then just press X or R2, whatever button it kind of prompts you to press, and the game will be complete. I tried hacking this console here, and it doesn't work. What the heck? Okay, for some reason I can't hack this terminal. It's probably because they're using peer VPN. Private internet access protects you from the prying eyes of hackers, internet service providers, and others that can see your personal data, like me trying to hack into this Imperial base. It basically hides your IP address and encrypts your internet connection so that you're safe while browsing online. It can also lower your ping, which is important for me because I live in Australia and sometimes you can't find a game on an Australian server, so need to connect to an overseas server, but then the ping is terrible, and Peer VPN fixes that. Click connect. Oh, I disconnected. Connect. Australian server engaged. So some of you also know I'm a tennis player, so I watch tennis on Stan Sport, which is only accessible in Australia. A lot of content like this is geo-restricted, which means that when I'm traveling, I can use the VPN to connect to an Australian server and keep watching. Hopefully one day I'll be playing the Australian Open and have to use a VPN to watch replays of my highlights. Just kidding, that's never gonna happen. Private internet access is also the world's most transparent VPN provider with over 30 million downloads. And they never record or store user data, so you're also safe there. And it's available on all platforms: Windows, Mac, Android, Linux, iOS, and many more, like whatever computers the Empire uses here. And you can use one private internet access subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices at the same time. Signing up for private internet access is also risk-free. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support. And by using my link in the description, you can get 83% off private internet access, which works out to $2.03 a month. And right now, there's also 4 months free. So go check it out. There's links in the description. And thanks to Private Internet Access for sponsoring this video and stopping me from hacking the Empire's data. Now, if you're looking for some easy unlocks, there's actually a crate in the back of your ship where both syndicates and other characters in the game will leave things for you to collect. Pretty much after every story mission, there'll be a few new items here in your crate, but you need to go and physically collect them. Sometimes syndicates will deliver things to your ship that appear in this crate, but you'll also get additional unlocks for your blaster, which allow you to upgrade it at the upgrade table. Also some things for your ship and your speeder bike. Also sometimes just some money, some credits. There's cosmetic items, there's items for Nix. But make sure that after every mission or side mission you complete, you come back here once in a while to check what has been left in this crate, because it could be a bunch of goodies that you didn't even realize were here. And speaking of the syndicates, if you're unsure of which syndicate you'd like to side with because you're unsure of the benefits you'll get from siding with them, you can actually check this in the reputation menu. Here, you can not only view your reputation with each syndicate, but if you click into the syndicate and go to the rewards tab, you'll see what you're able to unlock depending on your favor with that syndicate. And there are different items depending on how much they like you or dislike you. For example, if you're in good favor with the Pikes, you'll unlock a blaster cosmetic. Excellent gives you some perks. And then if you reach the maximum level of favor, you'll get the Imperial disguise jacket, an Imperial belt, pants, and a little cosmetic for Nyx. And this is pretty much the same for each syndicate, just with different awards. So choose which one you want to side with and unlock these things accordingly. And as far as I know, you'll have a chance to improve your reputation with each syndicate, but remember, what you do for one syndicate affects another. So choose wisely, but I think it is possible to still unlock all items on the same playthrough of the game. Could be wrong about that. But you can definitely still do jobs and perform tasks for syndicates that hate you. It might just be harder to do so. They'll probably kick you out or shoot you in the face before you do so. Now, Star Wars Outlaws has quite a custom way of approaching difficulty settings. When you start the game, you're not really prompted with choosing your difficulty. I think it just puts you on regular right from the start. But if you go into your settings, there are a bunch of different ways of changing how challenging the game is. If you go settings, accessibility presets, and then gameplay, you have the options of Explorer, Adventurer, Outlaw, and Scoundrel. And each of these presets are basically a group of settings which you can also customize individually. For example, choosing one of these will set the player health, enemy difficulty, wanted difficulty, lockpicking difficulty, and slicing attempts, as well as galactic street food difficulty. However, if you back out of the accessibility menu and go directly into gameplay, you'll see that here you have the ability to modify all of these settings on their own. So for example, if you would prefer the wanted system to be a lot harsher, you can put this all the way up to hard while leaving enemy difficulty and player health on different settings. And I love the amount of freedom you get in the settings here. It allows you to customize your own Star Wars Outlaws experience and make it as hard or as easy as you want in different ways. And I'm definitely putting the wanted difficulty all the way up so that the Empire can continue to hunt for me forever. Kves is a criminal. Let's be real. She's a terrorist.
Okay.
Also, while we're in the game menu, I want to draw your attention to the abilities tab, because here you also need to claim abilities that you might not have realized you've already unlocked. As you play through Star Wars Outlaws, you'll meet more of the experts, which is this game's answer to a skill tree. Basically, performing tasks and actions designated by each of these experts unlocks new abilities. And you'll likely be progressing through some of these abilities just through natural gameplay. However, some stuff you will need to do more specifically. You'll need to go looking for specific things to unlock certain abilities, upgrades, weapons. What you might not realize is you actually have to manually claim new abilities. There are a bunch in here, sitting here for ages, that I didn't realize I hadn't claimed. For example, the ability to fast talk your way out of situations when being spotted by an enemy. And you can also follow the progression of each of these, tracking them. The game notifies you of what you need to do next on the HUD. For example, here, to unlock the electroshock prod, I need to find an NL02 charge emitter. But again, just make sure you come and check this menu every now and then and claim the ones you've completed, so you can have a better arsenal and be better prepared for gameplay. Don't just leave everything sitting here waiting to be unlocked like me. Now, for the longest time, I thought that to customize Kay's appearance, you needed to go into the wardrobe in the back of the ship. This is where Kay Vess sleeps, and here you can use her wardrobe and select all the items you've unlocked, as well as adding perks to Kay Vess. However, what I didn't realize is that this entire menu can also just be accessed anywhere in the world from the interaction menu. If you tab across to equipment and go to loadout, you can modify all of this stuff here. So Kay is basically carrying all of these clothes on her at any one time, and they don't actually have to be stored in the ship. They're just able to be customized at any point, which is, I guess, the same as Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. You can change the paint job on the ship and change Cal Kestis' poncho as many times as you like, no matter where you are in the world. And the same goes for Kay Vess. Upgrading her speeder as well and her ship can all be done from here, and changing all of these cosmetics. You can even change the color of the Trailblazer's engine trail. This makes me feel like Rocket League. Hopefully there's a rainbow one that has all funny sound effects. Dude, they actually make different sounds. We're playing Rocket League, guys. Now, when you're exploring in Star Wars Outlaws, make sure you pick up as many data pads as you possibly can. Because at first, these may just appear to be a bunch of text that you don't need to read, but some of them actually give you quest information. You don't need to actually read what it says here if you don't want to. Depends how much lore you want to absorb about the game. But some of these that you pick up will actually give you quest information that will appear in the journal section of your menu. Some of the game's side content and intel will come just from reading these, and yes, even though you can stumble across some of this stuff accidentally in the world, just by exploring natively. I'd recommend picking up as many of these as you possibly can if you see them, because it'll help you find locations and upgrades you probably won't be able to get by just natively exploring. Unless you're doing one of those playthroughs where there's no menu and no HUD and you're just in the world and fending for yourself. If you're that kind of player, then why are you watching this video? Now, if you're sick of traveling in space and spending all the time flying between planets, you can actually fast travel. And fast travel actually has a bunch of different opportunities in the game depending on which syndicates you're sided with. For example, I'm currently in good favor with the Hutt Cartel, which means any Hutt Cartel controlled location I'm able to fast travel to. The Hutts, of course, control Tatooine, so right now I have a bunch of different fast travel options open for me on this planet, whereas if I go all the way back out on the map, which is something you can do, and look at the entire galaxy, which is really cool and makes me wonder where all the other planets are. I want to go to as many planets as possible. And then zoom my way into Tashara, you'll see that parts of this planet are controlled by the Pikes, and here the fast travel point is locked. I can still travel to Miragana City, which is the main location in the game, but the syndicate specific fast travel locations are still locked. Now, some people have been complaining that K-Bess only has the one blaster pistol, and that limits her gameplay. Well, in some ways, using the blaster pistol does feel a bit nerfed until you upgrade it later in the game. But that said, to make things a little easier, especially earlier in the game if you're playing on the harder difficulties, I would recommend turning on the auto perfect cooling function. This way you don't have to time the cooling of your blaster and press the button when it's in the specific window, and can focus on actual gameplay rather than watching this on the HUD. I turned this on early in my playthrough, so the blaster cooling is just something I don't have to worry about, and I'm having a much better time with the blaster because of that. Maybe it's just because I'm a noob though.
You're goddamn right.
If there are any other tips you have about the game, please let me know in the comments. Also, if this video hits, say, 1 million likes, I'll consider making another one answering more questions. Also, don't forget to check out Private Internet Access VPN and use my link in the description for 83% off plus 4 extra months free. For more Star Wars Outlaws, watch this video here, and thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. Catch you soon.